Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Girls Who Code info session for Idaho Libraries for 2025. My name is Jennifer Redford. I'm a youth services consultant at the Idaho Commission for Libraries, and I've been our Girls Who Code partner liaison for almost 7 years now. Yay! And over the past 7 years, have seen lots of libraries get plugged in with the Girls Who Code resources and really use the curriculum to benefit their communities and to kind of have a turnkey coding program that they can offer to kids where they are at. Um, so I am going to turn it over to our partners at Girls Who Code to talk about um, their organization, the goals of what they do. They're going to walk you through how to get a club started. Spoiler alert, it's super easy. And everything that you're going to need to get going and all the support that you'll receive once you get going. So with that, I will turn it over to Valerie and Christina to introduce themselves and let us know more about Girls Who Code. And go ahead, Valerie.
Great. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for the introduction. And it's so great to be here today. We've done these sessions for your group now for a few years. And so it's always great to be back and get to meet all of you wonderful librarians across the state and beyond. Again, my name is Valerie. I'm a senior manager of community partnerships and outreach. So a lot of my role is all about helping you all get up and started. Really thrilled to be here today. And we also have my colleague Christina joining in the chat and supporting with any questions that come up. Christina, do you want to say hi real quick?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Again, Christina. Happy to be here. And I'm the Regional Outreach Coordinator for the West and Mountain region. But see me as your resource. And if questions come up in the chat, I'm going to do my best to answer. So thank you.
Yeah, and we are here to help. And so for today, to kind of kick things off as we settle in, I do encourage you to introduce yourselves in the chat. If you could share your name and a few words that come to mind when you think of coding. I feel like that's always a good place to kind of ground ourselves in what we're going to talk about today. And thank you again, Carolee, for kicking us off. I already love some of the words that I'm seeing here, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a moment, but feel free to jump right into the chat while I walk you through what we're going to talk about today. So we'll kick things off first by providing a little overview of Girls Who Code, what a Girls Who Code club is, and some of the things that you can expect once you're digging into the curriculum. I also have a few examples to share of Girls Who Code clubs across the country and some of the things that they create together as a community. Then we'll take a little preview at a Girls Who Code activity. Today's topic will be AI, so we can all challenge ourselves a little bit and dig into some new content. And then after that, I'll provide some step-by-step instructions on how to access all of the resources to get up and started before the fall and really throughout the whole academic year. And then we also have a special thank you treat at the end for all of you for joining today. And then I'll be here to answer any questions as well, but I also encourage you to feel free to use the chat. We're a small group, so really want to make sure that everyone walks away with all of the resources that they need to get started. So let's take a look at some of the words that we have in the chat here. I love kicking things off by asking this question just because we always get such a range of answers. We get really technical responses, like when I think of coding, I think of JavaScript, or we get responses like when I think of coding, I think of excitement or adventure or fear. And so there's such a wide range for us as educators and librarians, but also for students coming into this club. They might have a lot of preconceptions about what coding is or who a coder is. And so at Girls Who Code, we hope to break all of those down so that everyone feels really welcome. And so I love some of the words that we have in here. We have scary, difficult, fun to learn, excited to share, literacy, tools, mindset, creativity. I love all of these. So let's take a look at what coding is really. So to put it simply, coding is writing commands to instruct a computer to do something in a programming language it can understand. You're simply learning to speak the computer's language. We believe that coding is a great way to teach students valuable life skills. It's an endless process of trial and error to try to get the right code in the right place. And it requires resilience, imperfection, and as students tinker with these challenges, they learn that it's okay to make mistakes and to embrace them as learning opportunities, which helps them remain brave and resilient in the future. So with that, let's talk about what a Girls Who Code Club is. Our Girls Who Code clubs are free and flexible clubs programs that empower librarians, teachers, and community volunteers to engage 3rd through 12th grade students, sparking their curiosity in computer science and propelling them towards technology careers. With clubs, Girls Who Code provides free curriculum and resources, personalized live support like today, and comprehensive online trainings. We also host events that foster community building, engagement, and built-in college and career resources to support them long-term. At Girls Who Code, we ground our program in our educational philosophy defined by these 3 central pillars. First, more than code, we equip students with the skills needed for in-demand jobs in emerging technology and AI. They don't just learn to code, they develop adaptability and problem-solving skills crucial for a rapidly changing tech landscape. Through project-based learning, students develop both technical proficiency and the creative, entrepreneurial mindset needed to drive innovation. Next, sisterhood. We create brave, inclusive spaces where students build lasting bonds with peers and mentors who share their interests, identities, and experiences. Our definition of sisterhood is expansive, celebrating all who join our community. This supportive community helps students persist and thrive as they navigate their tech journeys, fostering a generation of agile changemakers and adaptable entrepreneurs. And finally, real-world impact. Students apply their skills to address real challenges through project-based learning while using industry-relevant technology and tools. Though the projects they build, students will get to use these emerging tech skills responsibly to make positive change in their community. By connecting technical skills to meaningful impact, students see themselves as creators and innovators, not just consumers of technology. These experiences develop the vision and leadership skills they need to thrive in the emerging tech landscape. So Girls Who Code Club members will learn about computer science concepts and develop emerging technology literacies as they build community. There are 3 main types of activities you'll complete with your club members that are integrated into all of our curriculum units. Those are our sisterhood activities, our Girls Who Code Tech Spotlights, and the Learn to Code activities. To cater to the unique learning needs and styles of students in different age groups, we've also divided our clubs program into a 3rd through 5th grade club and 6th through 12th grade. So we can take a closer look first at the 3rd through 5th grade clubs. These clubs are really focused on developing bravery and confidence in computer science skills. Each 3rd through 5th grade club meeting consists of, first, an optional community building sisterhood activity and/or tech spotlight to start the meeting. Then they'll dive into guided lesson plans centered on our 3 Learn to Code options for 3rd through 5th graders. First is our brand new AI and emerging tech curriculum. To empower members to understand, use, and lead in the age of emerging technologies, our AI and emerging tech curriculum explores key concepts in fields like artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, building the knowledge and skills needed to navigate and shape the future of tech. Next is our BlockJam curriculum. BlockJam is a block-based coding program built exclusively for Girls Who Code clubs. This curriculum helps students explore coding fundamentals through hands-on activities and creative coding projects. And then finally, our Girls Who Code book club curriculum. If anyone on here has led a Girls Who Code club in the past, you're probably familiar with our book club curriculum. This is a book-based model featuring books paired with chapter guides that blend literacy, community building, and computational thinking through a structured progression. Members participate in unplugged activities that reinforce key themes from each chapter. So for your 3rd through 5th grade meetings, you'll be able to choose between all of this content to explore the different coding activities with your students. For our 6th through 12th grade curriculum, you'll see a similar structure, starting with that welcome and sisterhood activity and ending with a wrap-up. But a key difference is in our Learn to Code section here. This is where our 6th through 12th grade club members work through Learn to Code activities to hone their coding skills in all kinds of programming languages, including HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, and Swift from Apple. Our Learn to Code activities include videos and text-based instructions to guide club members to explore game design, web development, creative coding, cybersecurity, data science, and artificial intelligence. They offer a range of difficulty levels for beginners to more advanced learners. Club members can choose their learning pathway individually or as a group based on the programming language, project, theme, or skill level.
Wow.
Plus, we offer 6th through 12th grade scope and sequence guidance that describes what skills and content to teach, the recommended order to teach them, and for educators specifically, how our club activities meet the CSTA K-12 computer science standards. One of the big takeaways, though, is that for all of our curriculum, anyone can lead a Girls Who Code club. You do not need to have prior coding background to get started. So what do you need to get started? First, your club needs to run in a nonprofit host site space. So that might be a library, a school, a community center, essentially a public nonprofit space where students and community members are welcome. Next, you'll need access to technology and internet. For 3rd through 5th grade clubs, if you are using our book club model, we do also provide unplugged activities. So if you have limited tech access, you are still able to participate and do our coding activities without internet connection. Although we do really recommend if you can get students hooked up with a laptop, Chromebook, or computer, it's a really great way for them to engage in all of our content. And then finally, you need someone to lead the club. The person who leads the club we refer to as the facilitator. This is someone 18 or older who is connected to that nonprofit host site space. So maybe you are a librarian at the library and you are starting a club at your host site. We do also allow for additional volunteers to support a club. So if, let's say, there is a parent in the community that wants to join your club meetings, you can allow them to join, but that will be a decision based on your own host site, and we encourage you to follow any steps required by that host site for folks to volunteer and join you. We even sometimes see younger students, such as high school or college students, who are really inspired to bring coding materials to their community, take the lead and guide students through the club content. So you can always collaborate with your community and really see our clubs as a collaborative effort. So those are the 3 things you need to start the club, and then Girls Who Code provides everything else. So that includes webinar trainings, facilitation guides, and templates to support your club's success. Again, you don't need to have ever coded anything before to get started with Girls Who Code. And in fact, we always challenge our facilitators to try to demonstrate some of that same resilience and willingness to take a risk and maybe fail that we hope to inspire in our students. Again, that process of trial and error is so key to coding, and leading a club is really part of that process. We also have an amazing team of program implementation specialists specialists who are essentially curriculum experts and are always an email away to support you with anything you need in your club. Our team checks in throughout the course of your club to see if you have any questions with tips or support, and reminding you of any live webinars in case you want to learn more or meet the community. In addition to all of the resources, here at Girls Who Code, we also love giving out free stuff. So once you've enrolled at least 3 members in your Girls Who Code club, you are eligible to receive free Girls Who Code t-shirts for yourself and all of your club members, notebooks, and stickers. Plus, we have our amazing Amazon Wishlist Clubs Fund, where you're able to access additional supplies or tech to support your club. Also, in addition to supplies and tech, snacks is the best way, or one of the most popular ways to use the Clubs Fund. We've seen a lot of groups order a big snack box, and then they're able to give out snacks throughout all of the meetings, the whole length of the club. So now let's take a look at a couple sample Girls Who Code clubs to see some of the projects and types of activities they get into. We talk a lot about community and real-world projects, personal impact. So this group we're going to look at is a Girls Who Code club at a middle school in Texas, and they were inspired to support their community after Hurricane Harvey. Let me make sure I'm sharing my sound. There we go. And we'll hit play.
To do something. One thing I've learned as a teacher is that kids are really passionate about their community.
Emily Gray is one of the sponsors of the Girls Coding Club at Sartarsha Middle School.
The girls came to me and said, we want to help children that were affected by Hurricane Harvey. And so we kind of searched different nonprofits.
We came in contact with Children at Risk, and they were like, yes, we would love to be a part of your project.
Our app is called Say Stories About You, and it's a disaster relief app that focuses on giving children a platform.
So you just select the disaster that you were a part of.
It provides a really therapeutic environment for children to share their stories.
Thanks to the partnership with Children at Risk, resources are also offered.
We also have a donations page.
2 years after Tracy and Raina began coding in middle school, their skills and desire to help others are only getting stronger. They're now in high school, developing a new speech therapy app while growing the Say app even more.
Another feature we're going to add is going to be where you can draw your story for younger kids.
They're coding for a cause, hoping to improve lives.
We're just glad that we did everything that we could to help.
These club members are truly so inspiring, and it's just such a wonderful reminder of students' passion and creativity. Next up, I wanted to highlight another club story, and this one comes from a library in New York. This Girls Who Code club learned firsthand some of the ways that gender can impact teens who are curious about science and engineering in middle school. This is Lena from her Girls Who Code club, and she shared a story about when she first joined her robotics team and everyone was assigned different roles. She was assigned to be the notebook girl. So they essentially told her to just take notes rather than really getting into the engineering and kind of coding pieces. And so that really inspired her to encourage more girls to get into robotics and computer science. And so when they launched their Girls Who Code Club, she was able to take the lead at actually the library where they were running it. She teamed up with one of the facilitators and really encouraged other students to join. This library club was focused on making an impact, and they chose to focus their project on the environment, creating a website, app, or game that addresses the impacts of climate change on their community. And we have a quote here that a lot of us have seen different environmental impacts that really aren't talked about with a lot of our peers, Lena said. We're really focused on raising that awareness in this small community. And so they were able to use the skills that they learned from their Girls Who Code Club to build that impact there. And then now I have one more club story. This one's from another library. I hope that the audio comes through, but like Jennifer said, if there are any issues, we can make sure it's for sure in the recording. So we'll give this another go.
November evening, these girls are solving problems.
I think that coding is really fun with music. I like doing music.
That's 5th grader Grayson Henry.
You get a really fun product in the end. And I really like listening to music and like coding music. You like discover it with different sounds and stuff.
On one side of Grayson sits 9-year-old Abigail Gabbard, who's refining a game she created using a programming language called Scratch.
Yeah, you click on this and it goes and hits the banana.
And on the other side is 4th grader Irfan Badru, who just joined the after-school Girls Who Code class at the Bullitt County Public Library central location.
I wanted to learn how I can maneuver around computers because I usually have a hard time like figuring out copy and pasting.
Debugging issues on the computer and with the industry, one that has been Voice Club for years.
When I first started teaching coding, out of 100 students, 99 were boys. So then we started the club, and then the following year we had 30 out of 100. So the increase was amazing, and the girls ended up doing very successful.
That's Michelle Freeman, who volunteers at the library teaching. She only started learning code languages 5 years ago. Now, though, she's using her experience to let young girls know that keyboards don't know gender, and that girls can get into computer sciences at any age.
What I think the thing that I like most about it is the creativity, but also the problem solving and the teamwork. Like, we've done so many competitions. Like, I had kids win a NASA challenge with code. Like, they can do anything, and I think it's exciting for the future because the kids are super excited and they work so well together and they learn how to solve problems. And I think I honestly had no interest in coding until I learned how to code, and now I'm like fairly happy.
Reaching girls young, both in the classroom and out.
I do stuff with school a lot, so it's not that hard. I just thought about adding it though.
To help close the gender gap. Kathy Patel, Spectrum News.
All right, and so then that was just one more look at a library. One of the things that I love about that club story is that the facilitator had been new to coding herself and was able to learn to code, and as she did that, teach the students around her to code, and kind of everyone was able to demystify the process a bit. I have one final story I want to share. I had mentioned that we often see older students that are really excited by the opportunity to mentor younger students or get involved or take on leadership positions in the club. And this can be a great way for facilitators to feel supported in their role too. So this is a group of Girls Who Code club members who were leaders of their club. And we know that these leadership opportunities can really go a long way, especially for high school students as they're building essential life skills and taking on more responsibility. So let's hear from 4 additional club members to learn about their experience taking on a leading role and making their club meetings happen. And again, I'll make sure that the audio for sure is reaching everyone after as well. So if there's anyone who's having trouble hearing, we'll make sure you get this info after. Oh, there we go.
Hi, everyone. We're Girls Who Code Club from Folsom High School, California, and we are the student leaders of our club. I'm Hita.
My name is Nishka.
My name is Shreya.
And my name is Sadhana.
And today we wanted to talk to you guys about our experience with the Girls Who Code Club and how we developed as leaders ourselves by starting this club.
Just a little bit of our accomplishments. So far, we've fundraised around $2,000, some of which has been donated to the National Brain Tumor Society. Along with that, what we did was we tutored children HTML and CSS, Scratch, and Python, all for beginners and intermediate levels. Out of this, we learned how to organize, management skills, and leadership skills, and also just had fun teaching kids.
We were first motivated to become student leaders of our club because over quarantine, we realized that we all loved coding and we wanted to use those skills and promote that in kids around our community. That's why we created our summer program. And then we also found Girls Who Code who had the same sort of mission statement as what we thought of. And so we wanted to use them as a great way to promote our own ideas and inspire the next generation of females in STEM.
My main motivation to join this club was to close the gender gap and empower women and encourage them to participate in STEM and other fields which are largely male-dominated even now. This was also a channel for me to apply the knowledge that I've gained over the years through schooling and build a active change in community.
Thank you guys so much for listening to our experience with Girls Who Code. In total, we can say that we developed our leadership skills as organizers and as mentors and increased our confidence greatly. We contributed to our communities and we contributed to our knowledge ourselves. Thank you so much for listening.
Girls
Who
Code. Thank
Bye.
you.
So again, this is just a way that you can kind of think creatively about when you start a Girls Who Code club, who else might be willing to jump in and help. And oftentimes it's the very club members that are really excited to take on a leadership role and support you in leading the club. So with that, let's take a look at a sample club's activity. This is actually a brand new one. That has just been introduced as part of our new AI curriculum. This is actually my first time that I'm leading this activity too. So we'll be able to go through it together and hopefully, you all can kind of put yourselves into the shoes of your students and kind of think about what it's like to do an activity like this. Obviously, we're also doing it via Zoom, so there's some little changes made versus if you were doing it in person. But I'm really excited to take a look at this activity together. This is a fun one called How Does AI See Cats? And so one of the purposes of this activity is for us to learn a little bit about how AI builds information and what information we put into AI tools to help them learn. So to kind of ground ourselves and take a step back, we're going to just talk about what we know. And so when we look at these 4 images, we're seeing 4 cats. But how do we know? So I'd love for folks to put in the chat how you know these are cats. What are the kind of things that you're looking at that, again, you might not usually have to think too hard about this, but how do you know, essentially? So no wrong answers. We'd love to see folks put things into the chat, and we'll take a second and come back and see what we've come up with. And I'll participate too. So you'll see. I love, first one, cat-shaped. Add in pointy ears. And I'll also add tail. Let's see, anything else standing out? Oh, fur. Yeah, I love these cat expressions as well. All right, so some of the things that we came up with are features. So these are certain features that are being shared across all these photos. We see eyes, pointy ears, fur, tails, whiskers. These are all features that we associate with cats. And then I feel like there are some really fun ones, loving, catitude, and those expressions. So a feature is a special detail that helps us recognize or describe something. Features are details like if we're talking about a basketball, that the basketball has a round shape, orange color, and bumpy lines. These features of a basketball make it different from other kinds of balls that we might see in sports. AI systems look for patterns in features to guess what an image or word or face or animal is. So all of these features and these patterns in these features are the kind of tools and information that AI is using. So as a group, let's just take a moment to see if we might have missed anything else in terms of these features. But as we think about these features too, that we know cats have, let's keep it just to what we see in these images. So we talked about like the attitude of a cat, but we can't actually with the glasses, that is kind of a thing that gives it quite an expression. But let's just see if there's anything else that we might have missed that's represented in these photos that might not yet be in the chat. I know we got quite a bit already, but I'll give it just one more moment if there's anything else. Oh, pause, that's a good one. Okay, so now I feel like we have pointy ears, fur, tail, whiskers, paws. And so with that information, we would also be able to answer some questions about these features. So if someone said cats have 2 tails, we would be able to look at this list of features and these photos to know that no, cats have 1 tail. So we can start to make some assumptions based on these features, just like AI would. So moving along now, let's see if there's any features that are not in these images. You can think about this a little bit. And again, the question is, what is a cat? Is there anything about a cat that's not represented? I feel like maybe like claws. I can't really see if they have nails. Sleeping, cats sleep, but we can't see that here. Pouncing. Okay, yeah, so there are a few things that are not represented by these images. So now, if we were to bring 3 additional photos or images into our data set that we have here, but let's pretend that we are AI and we don't know if these images are cats or they're not. We now have this list of features that help us determine if an image is a cat or not. So let's use our AI kind of minds to take a look at each of these. So we can see our photo that we have here. I think we would all say that this is not a cat. And so this could be used as training data. AI uses training data sets, which are lists of examples that we can give to AI to help it find and refine those patterns and features, to use those patterns to make predictions. So let's say we show our AI, our cat-focused AI system, an image of this adorable puppy, and we can take a look at that list that we made and see if it is a cat. And so the things that we came up with were fur, tail, whiskers, paws, and pointy ears. So I think that based on the pointy ears, we might say, okay, this is actually not a cat. This is an adorable puppy. And so you might be thinking, that's very obvious, but we're humans, we're smarter than AI. And so we can know from a glance that that's a dog, that it's not a cat. But for AI, they're only working on the information that they've received. And so for our hypothetical system right now, we haven't yet shown a photo like this. But what we know about training data is that we're able to continue to refine what we teach our AI so we can better predict what images are. So when we see an image, we'll use the feature list to make a prediction on whether it is a cat or not. And remember, we'll kind of keep referring back to what we have in the chat to know what our list is, that feature list, to determine if it's a cat. So first image that we have here, what do we think, cat or not? And we think cat. I think one thing that comes to mind based on our list is that, yeah, it looks like a cat, but no fur and no whiskers. So those were 2 of the features that we had on our list. And also in this photo, we can't see paws, which was another of the items we had on our list, and we can't see the tail either. So our AI system is going to be working with pretty limited information here. In fact, does it have any of the items on our list? I guess it has ears, but I think that those 4 that it's missing, no fur, no paws, no tail, and no whiskers, I think our AI is not going to recognize this one. All right, we have another photo. What do we think of this one? I think it's checking a lot of our boxes. We see fur, we see whiskers, we see paws, pointy ears. I'll think on it. And then here's our third image. What do we think of this one? Cat or not cat? Again, think of the features we have in our chat. All right, and let's see how we did. So as humans, this is pretty easy for us. We know which ones are cats and which ones aren't. But when we think about our cat AI recognition system and the data set that we came up with of different features that are associated with cats, we realize that it might be a little tricky. And so based on our AI system, that third photo would look like a cat to AI, but we know that that's a dog just based on additional features. So with that, I think one of the most important takeaways is that AI systems are only as accurate as the training data humans give them. So AI might not know everything that first time around. There might be things that are very obvious to us as humans that are not obvious to our AI system as we train them. And so if we don't provide many different types of examples, the AI will make incorrect predictions. And that's an example of data bias. And so this happens when we have incomplete or incorrect data, which can lead to unfair or wrong output. Data bias usually happens when we don't give AI enough different examples. For example, if we only have images of cats with fur, it might not recognize a hairless cat. So quick check for understanding. I'd love to see either a thumbs up or in the chat what you think of this statement as a wrap up. So AI systems use features or details from data like images, words, or more to figure out what it is. A feature of a fruit might be the color or season it grows in. So does that sound right to us? And it's true, thumbs up. So yes, AI tries to find patterns in features and then use those patterns to make predictions. If we only train AI with orange cats, it will be able to recognize black cats with no trouble. What do we think of this one? Based on what we learned, this would be false. An example of a data bias would be exactly this statement. If we've only trained AI to recognize orange cats, it wouldn't recognize a black cat when shown a photo of it. So that AI would need to be trained. And then one last one. This prompt, the more cat photos we show or give the AI as examples, the more confidently the AI will be able to recognize many types of cats. We'll pause for, okay, we see some trues. And we're calling this one not sure actually, because we need a little more information to answer this question. What do you think we would need to make this statement true? I think if we take a look back at that last example, we know that the AI saw a lot of images of orange cats, but they were all one type of cat. So in order to make that decision, we would need to know what kinds of photos were shown, because if they were shown a lot of photos, but they were all the same type, that doesn't actually broaden the data set of features that our AI is working with. So thanks all for participating in this activity. Like I said, this is my first time that I've led this. This is a brand new activity, and so I was able to kind of quickly adapt it for today's session. You all got a sneak preview. I think this just went live yesterday in our curriculum, so we're really excited to have added fresh and new activities for you all this year. And I hope this was kind of an interesting way to think about AI and how you might be able to think about it with your students. So again, this is our AI literacy unit. We're really excited about it. Our amazing curriculum team has been working all summer on developing these tools and activities so that they can be fun and approachable, and so that you all can jump right into. Again, I don't have formal training in AI, and so I think I did okay, jumping in with short notice to facilitate, considering this was rolled out yesterday. But I'm really excited for you all to be able to access this. With our AI literacy unit, we're really excited to have 10 plugged and unplugged activities. So that's basically a whole semester of content for you to work with your students on these topics. And we have project-based hands-on lessons that will help build confidence both for you and your students. And whether you have done Girls Who Code in the past or this is your first time, we have tons of resources to help guide you through this content so you feel really comfortable jumping right in. So now that you got an overview of Girls Who Code, we took a look at a sample activity. Let's talk about how you can actually get started. So just a quick refresher, when you start a club, you will receive everything that you need to get started. We have our welcome checklist, we have meeting guides, we have our amazing team of specialists who are always an email away or even a Zoom call away to help walk you through anything, as well as additional live webinars. A few things to remember again is that Girls Who Code clubs, anyone can run them 3rd through 12th grade curriculum content. And most of our clubs tend to run for about an hour a week for about 10 weeks or so. But I also encourage you to take a look at what works best for your library. So if you typically have clubs run for 2 hours a session for 8 weeks or 45 minutes for 12 weeks, you can adjust and adapt our content to fit with what works best for you. So everything's very adaptable. And then a reminder as well, our clubs are open to everyone. So students of all genders are welcome to join. And we really hope that everyone can jump right in and start to feel confident with our Girls Who Code content. Wanted to share another reminder too that in addition to all of the free curriculum and resources, we love giving away free stuff. And so here we have a little testimonial from one of our clubs from last year, and all of the cool stuff that they got from their Amazon wish list, as well as the t-shirts, notebooks, and stickers. And so we really hope that this will just help enhance the experience, get folks excited to keep coming back, and help build community. We also have here just a couple tips for our libraries. We put this together with Jennifer for a previous webinar, but I think everything really still stands true today as well. That some of the best tips for getting started are, one, just being willing to give it a try. Everything here is so flexible, and from the moment you sign up, you have access to all of the resources to help you get started, whether it's just navigating the curriculum, to recruiting students, to moving through the coding content yourself. We really encourage you all to just lean into those amazing facilitation skills that we know you have. We have lots of tips too for like that classroom management, getting folks excited. I mentioned all of our amazing sisterhood activities, so those fun icebreakers to kick off each meeting. We have all of those tools to ensure that that community and fun is really threaded through every club meeting. Focusing on your relationships with all of your students and kind of the experience of the club itself will also go such a long way. A lot of students who come to our Girls Who Code clubs, this might be their first time learning to code as well. And so by creating that really welcoming space, that's what's really most important, so that students feel confident to take those risks and try something new. And then finally, just remembering that we have the agendas, the checklists, all of the resources for getting started. And so you can really focus on just kicking off that club, getting students to join, and making sure it's fun, because we are there to help you with all the other details. So in terms of actually signing up, it's pretty easy. We have a short application that you can access at girlswhocode.com/clubsapply. This short application is going to check that you have those 3 things that I mentioned at the beginning, that you're 18 or older, that you are affiliated with a nonprofit, library, community space, and that you have access to technology or space to run the club. It'll also ask you a few general questions like when you plan to start your club, what grades you plan to serve. These things can change too. So if you think you might start your club the first week of September, but then you realize you actually need another week just for logistics or anything external that you need to work on, you can always change that. It's just helpful for us to just know when you plan to start, because then our team can reach out to you and just make sure if you need anything that you know we're there to help. Once you submit that club's application, usually within 24 hours, you should hear back from us. At most, it would take a couple days. Most people hear back within 24 hours though, and then they get access to the full curriculum. So that's where those checklists are, those pre-recorded webinars, all of the student recruitment resources. We have like a promotional flyer that you can use to help spread the word, and all the steps for just getting settled into your club. And from there, you can take your time until you want to launch your club. So I do really encourage anyone who knows, I'm for sure going to do this at some point this year, you can fill out that application now, and I can actually walk you through what some of those questions will look like. Oh, and I just saw in the chat that someone had asked, so we also have a QR code here, so you're welcome to use that. If you're on your phone, or you can just plug that girlswhocode.com/clubsapply. To sweeten the deal a little bit too, we are doing a special giveaway today. So anyone who does start a Girls Who Code club today, during today's session, you will also get coffee on us. We know that even though we have all of the free resources, content, materials, it can still be a kind of it's just trying something new. You're taking on something new to start a Girls Who Code club. And just as a special thank you, we love to be able to treat you to coffee. So I'll be sending those out to anyone who's in today's session who then starts a club. So again, here's the link. And then I'll do a quick walkthrough of just what you'll see when you follow that link, but feel free to go along on your own. And then also we can use this time for any questions. So if there was anything that I said that you need me to repeat, or anything that I didn't get to that you thought I would talk about, please feel free to put questions in the chat or come off mute. But then in the meantime, I'll also walk through what to expect. So when you follow that link, the first thing that you'll be prompted to do is to create an account on HQ. HQ is what we call our website learning platform where all of our materials live. You'll be prompted to fill this out, and then you'll be able to create a login. It'll ask for just some general information, and then you should see this screen. This is where you'll be able to select Start a New Girls Who Code Club. I think everyone on this call will be picking that option. And I see a question in the chat, which is, are there any costs starting a club? And no, everything is free. I could never say that enough times, but everything is always 100% free. And so again, if you're not sure, you can always sign up to get started, and we're there to help you. There's no catch, and everything will always be free, plus free stuff. So that's basically our favorite word here. So once you click Start a New Club, it'll bring you to the application. From there, you'll be able to select the type of organization you'll be starting your club at. I think everyone on today's call will be a public library, although there might be some school librarians as well. And so if you're at a K-12 school, you can select K-12 school. From there, you'll add just some additional information about your host site. As a reminder, again, we want to make sure that you're affiliated with some kind of nonprofit, so school, library, community center. So that's where you'll put that information in. Then you'll be asked some general questions about who's planning to run your club. If you have anyone else that you think you might be teaming up with, like a colleague who you think you'll maybe run the club together, this is where they'll be able to join in as well, or they could always you can share the information after and they can sign up there. But if you know that you want to loop them in from the first moment, you can do that on the application. Then you'll add when you plan to start your club. Again, it's okay if the date changes. You can take your best guess, and then that helps us to help you. We'll start sending information and guidance just based on that date. Then you'll receive your participation agreement. This is, again, just kind of tied to your host site. So wherever you're running your club, essentially making sure that they know that you're doing this and that that's okay and that you have permission to run your club. After you submit your club's application, you'll get an email from us saying you're good to go. Here's the link to get started. And then when you log into HQ, you'll see everything. You'll see the facilitator toolkit. You'll see the sisterhood activities, the tech spotlights, the Learn to Code module, and you'll be able to start moving through everything. We also have our welcome webinars, checklists for getting started, recruitment materials. So you'll be able to take your time, click through everything, and let us know if you have any questions. And then finally, extra thank you. We're so happy for everyone who joined us today for today's session. And so everyone who's here today will receive a Girls Who Code workbook, and you're able to claim one at this link. So lots of links being shared, but I hope that you all are able to start a club and then also grab our workbook. But that was kind of all of the information I had to share. I would love to open it up to questions or just see if anyone needs any support looking at the application or just needs anything else reiterated. So I'll stop there. You can also see my email on the screen here. But let's see, any questions or anything that we didn't get to?
I will add really quickly, I think at some point in the application, there's a place to select your partner if you have a statewide partnership. So no need to, but if you'd like to select Idaho Commission for Libraries as your partner, then I go into my little dashboard and I can see everybody who's participating across the state. So if you need extra support, then that will give me a heads up to like check in on you or see if you have everything you need. So it's just another layer of support there. I also want to plug the books. Librarian, love a good book, and I will say that the Girls Who Code books that are part of the book club set or anything else they've published are super high quality and very well done. So, and also really engaging and fun. So if you want to do a book club, but it's secretly a coding club, but it's also a book club, this is your chance.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. And we love our books too. I feel like most libraries already have copies, but you can also use that clubs fund that I talked about if you want to order even more. So some folks use that clubs fund that we have to get a whole classroom set or get extras so that everyone can have a book to walk away with. But we love our book club model. We've had it essentially from the beginning, and it's really been a core part of our 3rd through 5th grade curriculum. And I think our students just love kind of the structure of learning about coding through reading and then getting to do an activity that relates to what they've learned. And yes, as you're moving through the application, keep an eye out for that question. If you're affiliated with any community organizations, and please select the Idaho Commission for Libraries. You also just get extra benefits, swag, support when you're part of a community partnership. Even be able to attend a session like today's. This is all tied to the amazing work that Jennifer does and the work that we do together. So we're always really happy to be able to provide that. And great question in the chat. Is it okay to take a month or two to get started and plan to start in the fall or winter? Yes. When you get prompted to answered the question, when do you plan to start your club? You can put any date, I believe, within the next 8 months. So you have a pretty long runway there where you're able to kind of take a look at your academic calendar and choose a time and date that works best for you. And yes, we also do see lunchtime clubs, so you can absolutely adjust our curriculum to fit in with that timing so that you can fit it in within that time of a 30-minute lunch break or 30-minute free period. We even include in our curriculum tips for if you need to make the meetings longer or shorter. And so in your case, you would just follow the tips and resources for how to shorten those meetings. Usually that means either doing a shorter icebreaker or splitting certain activities across 2 meetings. So we have lots of tips to support that.
Yeah, and fall and winter is a great time because the weather's so yucky outside anyway. You might as well do inside recess for lunch and do some fun coding.
Yes, so true.
I just want to also sort of highlight something that Girls Who Code is for all genders, so everybody's welcome at the clubs. Um, that's a good question. Is there enough content to provide a daily class so that students can sign up for it? You probably could. It would just not go for over the course of 10 weeks, right? It would probably be sort of like every day for like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We kind of refer to that as our like boot camp model, and it's very popular in the summer because we'll see a lot of summer programs. Sometimes we'll run for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and in that case, they might run the Girls Who Code Club every day for a shorter amount of time. So yes, you can do that, and then exactly to Jennifer's point, you'd probably start to run out of some of the content, or at least move through what we consider like a full club arc, but you could always start again then when you get to the end of it. But it's designed to be flexible, and so if you want to do like a mini club that meets for a shorter amount of time every day, you absolutely could do that. And then to Jennifer's point too, again, everyone is welcome, and we do have some Girls Who Code clubs who might even name their club after their school mascot or call themselves Coding Club. So depending on how you want to market your club, you're welcome to do that too. Of course, it will say Girls Who Code on our website and in our materials, but if you want to call the name of your club after like your school mascot and your Wildcats code, that's okay too. And we definitely encourage you to spread the word to as many students who are interested.
I will also just say I've worked with libraries who have been doing Girls Who Code for lots of years, and it is something I see them kind of dip in and dip out of as there's a need in their community, and as they have staff capacity. So it's a great one when you have new staff who are coming on board who may need to get a jump on facilitating. It's sort of a turnkey program in a box situation where everything is already there. It is free. You have access to it. And all you really need to do is build those relationships with the kids and facilitate the guide, but you don't have to create any of it on your own. So depending on where libraries are at in their staffing and what programs they have available, sometimes it's like a great fit. Sometimes it's like we're going to hold off on a year and maybe come back to it. But it's something that is always there and has been for several years.
Well, thank you all so much for joining. Please feel free to email if you have any questions at all. And if you filled out the club's application, you'll be receiving a Coffee on Us digital gift card in your email. So keep an eye out for that. And if anyone hasn't yet claimed their workbook, you can follow that bit.ly link and you'll be able to see our like workbook claim page and request one there. But so glad you were able to join, and if anyone's watching the recording, I hope that you also feel free to email me if you have any questions.
Okay, thanks, Valerie. Thanks, Christina. I will go ahead and stop our recording.